My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. If you haven't seen one of our betting breakdowns before, what we do is we walk you through our bets for the fights this week. And we talk about our bets, how we're spending our money, and we're not telling you what to do. We're telling you what we did. When we talk about our bets, we talk about them in units. So a unit for me may be $10. For you, it may be $100. But regardless of what your unit is, you can follow along and just do the math accordingly to make sure you're betting in the right increments, or at least get an idea of how much money we are willing to risk on some of these bets. So I'm going to walk you through my UFC bets. And then I also have a sneaky little Ben Askren bet in the bottom here.
Unreal.
The rest of the guys are going to scoff at. So
no communication. Didn't tell us.
Well, tell you what, it's going to be a fun fight, and I put money on it. But for money line bets, so this is just a straight up win, nothing crazy, I'm going with Chase Sherman at minus 105. I've gone back and forth on this one a lot. So Andrei Arlovski, who he's fighting, is a true vet. He's the former UFC champion. He was riding a wild win streak until he just lost a few months ago. The tricky part, though, is that Andre is taking this fight on 1 week's notice. He's 40-something years old. And Chase Sherman was preparing for Parker Porter. Parker Porter is my friend. He's a friend of the channel. He's a friend of the show, and we know him personally. And Parker Porter, while not the former UFC heavyweight champion, does have a similar fighting style where he's very mobile and throws a lot of strikes. So I think Chase Sherman is prepared. He is, sort of in that mindset of I'm fighting a mobile striker. And I don't think the Andrei Arlovski switch will mess with him that much. And Andre's taking a short notice. So I am taking him at minus 105. It's essentially even money. Then I'm going with Juan Espino. So Juan Espino is one of the best wrestlers to come out of his country. He's fighting a guy who's one of the best wrestlers to come out of his country. So wrestling wise, they're pretty evenly matched. The one thing, or the two things that I think Juan is better at, is striking and his jiu-jitsu. He has a jiu-jitsu black belt. So I think Juan has more ways to win, more tools in his bag. And I do think his wrestling styles and credential are a little bit better. So I think he wins, and I'll take that at plus money. And then I'm going with Alex Munoz at plus 129. So Nick Newell, who's normally on this show, but he's not in it today because he is in fight camp training for a fight that we can't announce yet. He shared a cage with Alex Munoz. He spent 3 rounds with him, 15 minutes with him. And they
almost got him too. Almost got him.
He had that tricky submission. And Jacob, that is the one thing that makes me nervous. So Alex Munoz is a phenomenal wrestler. He's a head wrestling coach at Team Alpha Male, which is one of the better camps with wrestling as a base. But he is fighting a very tricky jiu-jitsu guy. Nick, on our show, has a jiu-jitsu black belt, almost caught Alex Munoz in the guillotine. And that does make me nervous in this fight because he is fighting a long, lanky jiu-jitsu guy. But Nick walked us through that, and watched the individual breakdown video to sort of get some more insight. But Nick talked about it, talked about the pressure that Alex had on top, talked about sort of the elbow that hit him right in the face and just sort of eliminated some of those, submission attempts from that power. And I just think that's exactly what Alex Munoz is going to do here. I think he's going to take his opponent down, elbow him in the mouth, not get caught in a submission, and win me some decent money. And honestly, I may throw a full extra unit on this because I'm very confident in the Alex Munoz pick. And then I have a few prop bets. I typically use prop bets for when I'm confident in a specific outcome, or when I don't see a different outcome happening, or if a favorite is too heavy and I try to, sort of offset it. In this case, I took Chase Sherman wins inside the distance. Honestly, if he wins the fight, which I think he will, it is only going to be my knockout. He is not going to out-decision Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski either holds him against the cage for a decision, or one of them gets knocked out. So I don't see Chase Sherman winning a decision. So I'm taking Chase Sherman for wins inside the distance at plus 225. Then we just broke down Espino Romanov, and I'm going with over 1.5 rounds. And the reason I'm doing that is they're two phenomenal grapplers, and I don't think either one of them are going to stop the other guy. And if they do stop him, it's not going to be in the first round. So I think Espino will win the fight, but I think he'll win a solid decision, maybe a late stoppage if he ends up on top. So I'm going with over 1.5 rounds, and I'm okay with minus money on that. And then I'm going with Kelvin Gastelum at plus 5.5 points.
What does that mean?
Oh, great question, Jacob. If you haven't seen these breakdowns before, what that means is if this goes to a judge's decision, you have 3 judges, you total up all 3 of their points for each fighter, and then Kelvin Gastelum will get an extra 5.5 points. So the way that math works out is Kelvin Gastelum has to win 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards, and he will win this fight. Even if he loses a decision, but he takes 2 of the rounds on 2 of the judges' scorecards, he wins this bet. So that's a solid bet. I watched. You guys are.
That was great. That was great. I mean, that was great. I got it now. I got it
Thank
now.
you so much. Thank you. You know, it took a lot of work to really articulate that well. So I appreciate that.
That was great. That was great.
In spite of your antics.
That was incredible.
This was take 3 on that one. Oh my Lord.
Anyway.
That was the funniest thing I think I've ever heard.
Oh, and what's with this Ben Askren? Darn you.
I'm not done with the Kelvin thing. Put yourself together.
Sorry.
So I think Kelvin, if you watch it's a tough fight, man. It's a close fight. I think Robert Whittaker wins. Kelvin can win. And if Kelvin wins by knockout, wins an actual decision, we win this bet. All this 5.5 points does is sort of give you a little buffer in a decision if it goes the other way. Anyway, if you watch Kelvin versus Israel Adesanya, that was an absolute war, And I watched that fight again, and I really felt good about it, thinking, wow, Kelvin Gastelum at the end of the day is willing to go out there. And if he's in the mood, will absolutely bang and make it a war. And he has all the tools. He's very inconsistent, which is concerning, but given his last performance, I think he'll go out. I think he'll make it a good fight. And I think this bet will hit because 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards is not that crazy when you're as good of a wrestler and you're as tough as Kelvin is. And then not in the UFC, but also on Saturday night, I am taking Ben Askren to win by decision at plus 350. So Ben Askren, if you don't know somehow, is boxing a YouTube superstar tomorrow night or tonight, depending when you're watching this. And at the end of the day, neither one of them is going to get knocked out. Ben Askren has a head like a freaking cement truck. He doesn't hit hard enough to knock anybody out, but he is tough. He will move forward. He's been in more fights by tenfold his opponent. And I think his volume, his forward pressure, and just the fact that at the end of the day, he is a combat sport athlete, regardless of his dad bod, I think he can win a decision. And I'll take that at plus 350 because those are pretty solid odds. So you guys are rolling your eyes and making ridiculous gestures. Dan is wearing headgear like he's trying to land a plane. So why don't you go ahead and land us into some money with your bets?
He's muted. I mean, he's muted right now.
Of course he's muted. What an absolute joke. What a joke. You complete buffoon.
All right. So Jacob and I actually only bet on UFC fights, like we all planned and coordinated for the show. But now that we know you can bet on whatever you want and just do whatever you want, like Angelo does, Jacob and I will be betting on water polo next week. Jacob is going to be arm wrestling his neighbor. She's tough.
Take the neighbor.
She's definitely tough, but we'll get the odds out to everybody. We'll pick.
I'll be the best plus 800 you've ever bet on in your life.
So anyways, only UFC bets, but here's what I got. So Jeremy Stevens minus 130. I got a unit on him. I think he's just a more versatile striker. I think he's got a bigger arsenal to attack with, kicks, punches, body shots. They both have good chins, but I think Drakkar Klose's defense is a little bit lacking. So I think Stevens will win this fight. So minus 130, I got a unit there. Then I got a bunch of prop bets. So I didn't love all the money lines on this card. There were a lot of tough fights to bet, but I did pick a few spots where I did like the odds on props. So Sherman Arlovsky does not go the distance. I got that at even money basically for half a unit. So Arlovsky coming in on a week notice. Sherman basically comes forward, chin in the air, throws power shots. I could just see this fight ending one way or the other. Hopefully it's Arlovsky catching Sherman with his chin up. But I don't see this fight going the distance unless Arlovsky does the veteran move and really controls the tempo of the fight and controls the distance. So I could see that happening, but for even money, for it to end within 3 rounds, I put a half a unit there. And then I did a similar bet where it doesn't start the third at even better odds, plus 160. So again, banking on that first round, Sherman coming out aggressive, and Arlovsky knowing he's on a short camp and also being aggressive as well, trying to finish it in the first. Then we got Stevens and Close, does not go the distance. So we broke it down a million different ways in our earlier videos, but we think this fight's going to be an absolute war. I think Stevens will be the one that lands the knockout shot, but they both have knockout power. They both hit. They both don't mind getting hit. I would just say that Close has a little bit less defense. So I'm betting on this fight not going the distance. So to get plus odds on that, I thought that was definitely worth half a unit and a pretty good bet. Next one is a little bit of a kind of value play. Not sure if it's going to happen, but at plus 220, I like it. It's going to come down to whether Godinez shows up in the same form that she was her last fight. I was super impressed the way she looked in her last fight. Her boxing was on point. She hit hard. She had good takedown defense. And Penne is coming off of a almost 4-year layoff. So who knows what she's going to look like. But if Godinez comes out boxing the way she did her last fight, she almost finished her opponent a couple times in that fight early on. So wouldn't be surprised if this fight ends within the distance. Plus 220, I thought that was pretty good odds, so I got a half a unit there. Next up, I got Dakota Bush at plus 3.5 points, even money. So he's a good wrestler. From what I've seen on his social media, he's been asking to get thrown in for last-minute replacements, so you got to think he's in shape. And his opponent has struggled with wrestlers. So those 3 things, I don't know if he's going to win the fight, but with plus 3.5 points, all he needs to do is win 1 round on the judges' scorecard. So at even money for him to win 1 round as a wrestler, I like those odds. I got a half a unit there. I might up that, to be honest, if those odds stay the same. Then I got Kelvin Gastelum, similar bet, plus 5.5 points at minus 105. Angelo explained it earlier, so I won't run through it again.
Perfectly.
But basically,
I mean, perfectly explained.
Yeah, I mean, he knew those numbers so well that it only took him 5 different takes to explain it. Now, all kidding aside, it is a little tricky. I think it comes down to he's got to win 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards to win the fight. So, with these 5-round fights,
whereas the 3.5 is just 1 round on all the judges.
Right. Yeah. So 3-round fights, it means a lot more. But with 5 rounds fights, if they're close, like we think this could be back and forth war, sometimes those scores are all over the place. So break out your calculators. But him getting 5.5 points, me thinking that it could be a close fight and probably will go 5 rounds. And Gastelum has the upside for a knockout. I will take the extra 5.5 points at minus 105 for a half a unit. And then the last one I got is pretty crazy odds, but I mean, I like it. It's a long shot, but not that much of a long shot where it should be 10-1 odds. So Andrei Arlovsky wins first round by knockout. I think his opponent Sherman hits hard, but also doesn't mind getting hit. And Arlovsky is a very good striker, experienced, and coming in on short notice, you got to figure he's like, hey, if I can get him out of here in the first round, that's going to be probably the best way to do it. I don't want to be, in the second and third on 1 week notice. So to get that at 10-1 odds, I thought that was a great value. So I got quarter of a unit there. All in all, a lot of props, not a lot of money line bets this week, but pretty good odds. I think I'm almost plus money on just about everything. So other than the Gastelum, plus 5.5.
Yeah,
so.
and that's basically even. My favorite bet of yours that I'm honestly, as soon as we're done filming here, I'm going to go place it, is the Sherman Orlovsky does not start the third. So when I walk through my bets, I have Sherman money line because I think he can pull that off. And then I have Sherman inside the distance. But Sherman Orlovsky does not start the third, protects me against an Orlovsky knockout, and it'll triple down on a Sherman knockout. So I like that quite a bit because those odds are so interesting to me because the odds makers have said we don't think this is going to do the distance, but then they've said not starting the third round. Oh, it'll definitely start the third round. Here's some good money. That doesn't seem logical to me. I mean, if it doesn't go the distance, that knockout's going to be in the first or the second. It's not going to be in the third.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the only factor that they probably have going is that one guy is taking it on 1 week's notice. So guys who are that good and have that much experience, but are on short notice, they probably are competitive until the later round. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I like the bet at plus 160, but the more conservative way to go is even money on doesn't go the distance. So my favorite one, I think, honestly, if Dakota Bush comes in shape to get 3.5 points, like he's got to steal. I mean, in shape, Dakota Bush could win that fight, and I think definitely wins a round. The only problem to this bet would be if he's not in that greater shape, he could gas hard later rounds and could get finished. That would spoil it all. But
that is a good bet because Dakota Bush is a very good wrestler. His opponent has struggled with wrestlers in the past. I think his opponent will win the fight, but we talked about it. You only, with this plus 3.5 point handicap, whatever you want to call it, he only has to win one round. And it is very possible he wins the first round with takedowns. Very possible. So that's a good bet too. That's even money though, but that's a good bet. So Jacob, why don't you go ahead and walk us through basically your 3 bets?
Woo! Yeah, there's no even money bets here, boys. This is the real deal. The people's bets.
Lord.
We won big last week. I mean, you guys haven't even given me any credit. I think it was 15.5 units last week. Legit. I mean, those are actual winners. I won a 5-fight parlay. I hit Dern huge. So we're rolling right into. We're not trying to double our money here. Okay, we're trying to 10 times our money, 20 times our money in 1 week, and it all starts off with the lock of the week. And I've never been so confident in a lock of the week in my entire life. Never in my life. And it shows right here, guys. Burchek's going to win. He's going to win by sub. I was so confident. I put a half unit on each round. Remember, my units could be $1,000. I mean, these could be, $500 bets. It's a possibility, So I'm very confident in my lock of the week. I put my money where my mouth is. Someone even said, in the comments, like, oh, I'd like to see his bet slip. There's the bet slip. I'll text me. I'll show you the actual bet slip. I'll show you all the money I'm about to win.
Wait, where's the bet slip? You just said there's
the PowerPoint presentation.
No, I mean, it's a PowerPoint, but I can't show them. I'll take a picture of me with my stack of money next week, and that'll be my proof there. The next bet I'm going to is Tracy Cortez. Now, Tracy Cortez fights a lot of decisions, but she's a good enough fighter, and I feel like she's just due for a finish. She's fighting Kish, who I don't think is very good and is prone to get knocked out. She comes back chin high. I think Cortez can push the pressure or even use her wrestling and TKO her. So I think she's in a great position to get the finish. So again, corner units here with some crazy odds for her to get a TKO or KO in any of the first 3 rounds. Then I went with Stevens close. You guys saw the face-offs. You saw how aggressive these guys are going to get. They already fight aggressive. Now, Stevens is pushing them on the stage. Now they're even more pissed off. So I got does not go the distance for a plus 110 on that. I think that's one of the safest bets on the card. And then I kind of went the same route you guys went with the Chase Sherman fight, except I went a little bit more specific. You guys have, I think everyone agrees that it's going to be an inside the distance fight. So I took Chase Sherman because I think he's going to win the fight anyway. So I think he's going to win, get the inside the distance at a plus 240. I put a full unit on that. And then Luis Pena. So Angelo kind of questioned this as well. He said, if you think Luis Pena is going to win, why wouldn't you just take the submission win, which would be better odds? I think the submission was maybe like a plus 400. I honestly think there's opportunities for Pena to win on his feet. If he stuffs a takedown, he's so long and uses distance. He loves throwing knees on an entry. There's just weird things that could happen that I didn't want to get too. A lot of the bets are, very, very aggressive. I didn't want to get too specific on this one. So I just said, you know what? There's a chance that he could win on the feet. So let me just take it all inside the distance. Cause I think if he's going to win, he's not going to win a decision against Munoz because he's probably gonna get taken down and lose rounds. So I think if Pena is going to win, it's definitely gonna be inside the distance. And I think he can win either way. The next one, I had to do another 5-fight parlay. Last week, we won a 5-fight parlay. This one, I think I structured it a little bit the same. I think last week I had 2 favorites, 3 underdogs. This one, I have 3 favorites, 2 underdogs, I believe. And I put a full unit on it, plus 9-75. So it's Alasan, Cortez, Godinez. Those are the 3 favorites. I think those are the 3, in my mind, locks of the card. There's not a lot of that's why I didn't do a lot of money line bets. There's not a lot of favorites I really feel good about. I think those 3 now are my favorite that I feel good about. And then I went with Sherman. I had the inside the distance on him. I just think he's a better, I think Orlovsky is at that time where he just is going down in his career and Sherman's going to be a little bit too fast for him. And then I have Espino. I think he finds a way to pull out that fight. There's a chance he just gets mauled the entire time, but I think he's tricky enough and crafty enough to find a win in that. So those are my 2 underdogs. That's a plus 975 for the 1 unit bet. I'm ready for this Anthony Burchek to send me on a private jet to Vegas, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate all of them. You really do have all your eggs in a basket. I mean, good for you for you sticking by your lock of the week. And anybody questioning if Jacob has faith in his lock of the week should absolutely watch our final DraftKings breakdown video.
So
he showed his true belief in his lock of the week.
No, my wallet shows my true belief, Angelo.
This is a PowerPoint presentation.
You still haven't showed that guy your bet slip, though. That was.
I'll show the money afterwards.
Here's my bet slip. No, that's a PowerPoint that Angelo made with just things we wrote in there.
So anyway, I do.
This is slander.
I have this same bet. The Sherman wins inside the distance. You got better odds. You must have hit it earlier in the week. I did it today.
These were those bets I placed like on Monday night, I think. Yeah. I think I got better odds on Dan on the does not go the distance just by a little bit. I think I got plus 110. He got 105, I think. So yeah, I placed these early in the week.
And if you guys are seasoned, gamblers.
You know what's interesting though? So you get plus 240 for Sherman to win inside the distance. But like you said, Angelo, for fight does not start the 3rd, either guy winning is plus 160. I don't know. I mean,
it just with that bet that you're talking about, the odds were plus 100 or something like that.
And you guys got to remember too,
within the distance is plus 100, but doesn't start the 3rd is plus 160.
But you guys got to remember too that these are not my bets; these are the people's bets. I make the bets for the people. So
got it. Okay.
I was like, you didn't place these bets. That's the whole premise of this, Jacob. But I see where you were going.
Well, you might be
either way.
There.
Let us know in the comments what you like, what you don't like, what your bets are. This is one of the trickier cards we've had to do, if we're being honest. But I think there's some legit winners and some gold mines in these picks. So let us know what you think, what bets you're taking. I'm probably going to be placing bets till about the fight start tomorrow. So I'll definitely scoop.
You going to place that Burchek?
Comments.
You going to place that Burchek bet?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I will probably.
Dan?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no.
If you win the lock of the week this week, oh my God.
I can't wait for this recap moment here. See you on Sunday, boys. See you on Sunday.
You'll definitely get some praise if you we
had any bets, we'll post them in the comments. And then if we lose them, Angelo will delete it afterwards.
Yeah, see? So easy that is. But anyway, let us know in the comments what you think, what bets you like. I didn't do it, Dan, but I'm definitely going to go smash that Dakota Bush at plus 3.5 points.
Smash it,
baby. I do love
baby.
that with his wrestling offense. I think he'll take the first round. So let me know what you're going to do.
Smash that bet and smash a sub, Brian.
Okay. And join Jacob's live stream for more just hilarious antics like that on Saturday night.
He just fell off the chair. He laughed at but he made a joke about you eating a sandwich and he fell off the chair.
Jacob with the obvious fat joke falling out of his chair laughing. make sure you watch his live stream and let him know how insane his bets are. And we will see you Saturday night. Before you go, check out the description below. In there, we have links to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and more importantly, to our DraftKings League. Check out the league, join the league, participate in the contests, and as we get going and as you start winning, we're going to start handing out gift cards and participating and doing things like that. So check those out. Every week, there are drops on every fight card. So make sure you check out this channel and our social media on Saturday before the fights start so that you have our most updated lineups and picks.